What it do, people? What it do, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're tuning in from? It is your boy, Dolo J, and welcome back to the Kicking It Dolo podcast, the weekend roundup, the second version, man. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, man. Bama went down, man. Colorado moves to 2-0. Oregon survives. We got the FIBA medal games. We got NFL. We got the gold medal game, man. It's so much stuff to talk about. I was gonna wait till tonight to do it, just to see my Bills play, but barring anything happening, you know what I'm saying, in case us losing or whatever like that, I'm gonna go ahead and just get the episode out the way because I'm not trying to be a mad camper. You feel me? But enough yippering and yappering. You know what I'm saying? Y'all already know, as the new motto goes, y'all know what we do and how we do. So without further ado, cue the intro, man. I can see the whole world sitting in my hand, amazing views. We finna break the rules, and we gon' make them too. I can't fall asleep, I gotta stand tall, that's what a leader do. Follow me, I'm leading you. Hey, we finna turn up, crank up the heat in here, they finna burn up. Told them I'm coming, I'm here, tell them they turn up. I said it once, I'ma say it again, this will be my year. I ain't gon' show no fear, I know that I'm built to equip for what God want me to do. I'm number one, not the two, it don't know where I'ma lose. All right. So we back, man. Let's go ahead and start with some college football. Down goes Bama. They lost 34-24 to Texas. Quinn Ewers, 24-38 for 349, 3 touchdowns, 3 carries, 11 yards. Jonathan Brooks, 14 carries, 57 yards, 1 touchdown. And they had a receiver, Jatavian. I did not put his last name. That was smart of me. But yeah, he had 5 receptions for 114 yards. Texas also fumbled the ball twice, but they had 0 turnovers in the whole game. Jalen Milroe went 14 of 27 for 255, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He also had 15 carries for 44 yards. Jace McClendon had 15 carries for 45 yards. Kobe Prentice had 5 receptions, for 68 yards. And Jermaine Burton had 2 receptions for 58 yards, 1 touchdown. And Nye Black had 2 receptions for 45 yards and a touchdown as well. The first half of this game was kind of meh, kind of eh. I ended up tuning into the game around the second half, but I went back and watched our highlights on the first half. It was only like 13-6, still a very close game. But it was like, I want to say it was either 5 or 6 or maybe even 7 possessions in a row where touchdowns were scored, and the second half was one for the ages. Now, a lot of people are saying that, oh, this is the end of Alabama, and oh, Alabama's not as dominant as they used to be. You gotta think about it. For one, Bama, yes, are they the perennial or the peak of college football over the past 20, maybe 10, 15, 20 years? Of course they are. Of course they are. But you're not gonna always win. And this win that was against an AP top 15 team, it's gonna look a lot better versus a win versus a non-ranked school. Like, just to throw one out there, let's just say they played Georgia Southern or something like that. This loss is a lot better than suffering a loss like that. And also, Alabama losing early in the season, go ahead and get it out the way versus losing later in the season when the race is a lot more tighter and, you know what I'm saying, people are jockeying for position within their respected divisions, conferences, and things of that nature. I don't think this will be the end of Alabama as we know it, but I do think it may put people a little bit more alert on Texas and bringing Texas more back into the, national stage. Now, Texas is already a beloved team across the country in various states like that, just like the Cowboys and, the Patriots and other teams. But at the same time, they maybe since the Vince Young days, if I can remember, where Texas were really like seen on a national stage. Of course, they have their games on Fox and nationally televised games, but as far as people buying into what Texas has going on, I believe this win over Alabama is going to change that, and a lot of people are going to be looking for Texas to come out of the Big 12. A lot of people are going to be looking for Texas to come out of the Big 12. Now we have to see what they do within conference play, but just getting a win like this under your belt, and also Steve Sarkisian being, his former mentor, is something that very, very few people have done. Alabama was what 51-1 in their last game, 52-1, something like that. And Steve Sarkisian said after the game, I didn't want to tell him that they only lost one game out of the last 53, 54 games, something like that. So he just it was a nugget that he had in his head, but he knew how to use that nugget and spin it into a way where he can motivate his players without actually telling his players that stat per se. So, it's not the end of the world for Bama. Like I said, shouts out to Texas. You know what I'm saying? I got a couple friends in Texas. Jalen, if you're watching this, man, you know what I'm saying? I hope you enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself. Now, the next game we're going to get to in college football, man, is going to be Colorado. They moved to 2-0, already doubling their win total from last season. Over a 36-14 victory over Nebraska. Shadur Sanders, 31-42, 393 yards, 2 touchdowns, 11 carries. Negative 30 yards, which is wild, but he still had a rushing touchdown. Dylan Edwards, 9 carries, 55 yards. Xavier Weaver being their top receiver of the day, 10 receptions, 170 yards and a touchdown. And Travis Hunter, a little less, game that he had against TCU, but he still had 3 receptions for 73 yards, including an insane 40-yard reception. Insane, where Shadur, he was rolling out to his right, I believe. And I want to say it was on 3rd down or something like that along those lines. And he just heaved it. And Travis Hunter just went and made a play, man. As far as Nebraska goes, Sims, he went 9-15 for 106 yards, 1 interception, 2 fumbles, both lost. He had 10 carries for 76 yards and a touchdown. Gabe Irvin has 17 carries for 74 yards. He also had a fumble, which was lost. And Billy Kipp, the fourth, had 5 receptions for 57 yards. Nebraska, they were just pretty much overmatched. Now, they did come out early in the game trying to establish the run, given the fact that the Buffaloes' pass defense is not as good as their not pass defense, but their rush defense is not as good as their rush defense is not as good as their pass defense. So, the game plan was for Nebraska was basically don't turn the ball over, keep the time of possession in your favor, keep the ball out of Shadur's hands, knowing how explosive Colorado can be. Run it down their throats and also make plays on defense. Get the boys off the field when you get a chance. The first quarter, they struggled. I believe they only put up 3 points until about the 2-minute mark of the second quarter is when they scored their first touchdown. But, man, I just like what Deion was saying. And Shadur, after the game in the press conference, basically said how the Nebraska coach basically, he said some things that he didn't really partake to or he didn't really like about his pops. And one, it's different when it's your coach. Of course, you're going to be a little bit upset. But when it's your pops and your coach, too, it's a little bit more off into it behind it. You take it a tad bit more personal since that's your flesh and blood somebody's talking about. And he was like, he just didn't respect him because, you're hating on another man, talking down on another man, which is what goes on a lot. What goes on a lot today in America, not just sports, rap industry, regular people, 9-to-5s, the corporation, corporation. A lot of people just talk down on other people. Granted, to either make the other person look bad or, make themselves look better, whatever the case may be. But I don't think somebody criticizing somebody is talking down on them. There is a fine line. It is, something that can kind of like be on the borderline. And sometimes criticism is taken as to somebody down talking somebody. So, if you're going to critique something or have something to say about somebody, just do your best to try and not seem like you're hating. It is hard because it also depends on the person who is receiving the information that you're trying to give. But it's also on you to convey it in a way where it will help the person, not take it in such manner. But like I said, Colorado's doing good. They play my Oregon Ducks on the 29th, then they turn around and play USC the following week. So it's going to be real interesting to see those two matchups. Like I said, I'm going to be rooting for Deion until he plays them Oregon Ducks, man. I'm rooting for you, Prime. I'm not praying on your downfall, nothing like that. But when it comes to Oregon, man, it just supersedes all. It don't matter who is on the other side. Unless it's Jesus or God, you know what I'm saying? I'm rooting for Oregon. That's just what it is. That's just what it's going to be. But I still hope he has a successful season. I still hope he makes some noise. You know what I'm saying? I hope he goes out of the Pac-12 with a bang. And, Many more years for him to come, man. Many more years for him to come. Y'all like my y'all see I got my hair out. I ain't got no do-rag on. I'm trying to grow my hair back out. That's why I've been keeping my do-rag on. Then I don't have no lineup. But y'all like my little Bernie Mac though, man? Y'all like my Bernie Mac? Listen, America. Let me stop playing. But on to the third and final college football game that I'm going to be covering today, which was a heck of a game. Mount Oregon does survive. Survive Texas Tech 38-30. Bo Nix went 32 of 44. He went 32 of 44, 359, 2 touchdowns, 9 carries, 46 yards. Bucky Irvin went for 11 carries, 38 yards and a touchdown. Troy Franklin went for 6 receptions, 103 yards and a touchdown. And this was a heck of a game. Texas Tech was, you know what I'm saying, they were at home and they were not going down without a fight, man. Tyler Shaw, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, 24 of 40 for 282, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 23 carries for 101 yards and a touchdown. That's wild. So he accounted for what? 28 points for, you know what I'm saying? Basically all the points he accounted for. Taj Brooks had 6 carries for 66 yards. Bradley had 5 receptions for 83 yards and a touchdown. Mason Tharp had 4 receptions for 37 yards and a touchdown. And Miles Price had 4 receptions for 31 yards and a touchdown. This was a heck of a game. Oregon, we went up early. I want to say we went up to probably 15-7 in the first quarter. Second quarter, we didn't really put that many points on the board. You know, Texas Tech, they scored. I want to say it was probably like 15-14 or either 18-14, something like that going into halftime. And then they came out in the third quarter balling. We were down 9 points real quick. Real quick. And we had to put up 20 points in the fourth quarter. It was a play. We went and took the lead on the field goal. I want to say we had maybe 3 or 4 minutes left in the game as far as Oregon is concerned. And, or maybe, no, it wasn't. Yeah, we had about 3 or 4 minutes left. And then Texas Tech ended up driving the ball down the field. And it was just painful for me to watch, man. You know how it is when you watch your team when y'all only up 1 and the other team only needs a field goal to beat you. And they're moving the ball down the field like they got 17 yards. Like after we took the lead by 1, they got 17 yards the very next play. Like I'm just like, bro, we can't lose on the field goal. I'll never hear the end of it. I won't make an episode probably for 2 weeks, and I don't need to be doing that because I already took like a 3-month break off. But yeah, man, it was just brutal for me to watch. And then we end up getting a pick 6. We could have clocked the game. Actually, we didn't really need the pick 6. We could have clocked the game, but you know, people. It's hard to tell a guy on defense when you got a chance to score to don't score, man. They rarely get out opportunities like that. So, you know, I don't blame him for, you know, returning the ball back for a touchdown and, you know, basically, you know, kicking the extra point. And we were up 8. But at the same time, you know, we still let Texas Tech drive down the field, and it literally came down to the last play where he just heaved the ball into the end zone. And there was 2 Oregon players. One tried to knock the ball down. One hit the ball, bobbled it, caught an interception in the game. I was so happy. I was sitting around here jumping up and down. I'm pretty sure my neighbors downstairs are sick of me from Saturday night. You know what I'm saying? All the noise I'll be making. And between Saturday night and Sunday, I just know they're done with me, man. I know they're done with me. Hopping up around, celebrating. You know what I'm saying? Woo, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, don't. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I got pit stains, man. I went for my morning walk, so y'all leave me alone. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to exercise. Are you exercising? But nah, anyway, yeah, man. But yeah, I was jumping up and down. I'm pretty sure my downstairs neighbors are tired of me. But no complaints have been filed yet. Well, hopefully we'll make it through the season with no complaints. But yeah, Oregon survives. So let's go to some FIBA basketball. And I kind of, even though it kind of wrecked my sleep schedule, I am going to miss watching FIBA games, bro. Like, waking up 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning to watch basketball, you know what I'm saying, especially a different type of basketball, is just very, very near and dear to my heart, man. Very near and dear to my heart. I love basketball. Love it. It's pictures of me 2 years old with my little Tonka tights goal, or whatever it's called. Just laying the ball up, putting it in, you know, doing stuff 2 years do when they try to be a basketball player or whatever. So I just love basketball. So we're going to go to the bronze medal game first. So in the bronze medal game, Canada ended up being the United States, which was crazy. I want to say the score was 127 to 118. Yeah, 127 to 118. Dylan Brooks, 39 points, 7 of 8 from 3. Shea had 31 points, 9 assists. RJ Barrett, 23 points, 7 rebounds. Anthony Edwards had 24 points for the U.S. and 5 rebounds. Reeves had 23 points and 5 rebounds for the U.S. Mikal Bridges had 19 points, and he hit a key 3. Canada was up 4. I want to say with about 3 or 4 seconds left. So Bridges makes the first free throw. Then, he's going to try and intentionally miss the second free throw. But he misses the second free throw. Gets his own rebound. I'm going to play the clip of this probably as I'm talking about it. Gets his own rebound. Imagine that. You're shooting a free throw and you get your own rebound off the free throw in the corner, pulls up cash with 0.2 seconds left overtime. So I was like, oh, the USA doing all this to fight back? Because it was a back and forth game. I did miss the first half of the game. I did wake up a tad bit late, given the fact that I was watching a lot of college football and, setting up the college football portion of the episode. So, I did tend to oversleep a little bit, so I didn't really get a chance to watch the first half. But if the first half was anything like the second half and overtime, well, not too much overtime, but the second half, chef's kiss, man, chef's kiss. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful game. But, Dylan Brooks went off, and a lot of people were saying, and my boy, Prescott Kelly, Chopping It Up with P. Scott podcast. Make sure y'all go follow my boy on Spotify and wherever else you listen to your podcast. Good friend of mine, great guy, really, really great guy. It's been good to me. So y'all make sure y'all go check him out. Make sure to tell him that Dolo sent you. But he was alluding to how he was seeing a lot of people on his social medias, and I as well were seeing a lot of people on my social media basically saying, "Oh, Dylan Brooks is good. Dylan Brooks is good. He's actually good." One. Some people play harder for their country as opposed to their NBA team. So I'm just going to go out there. It's different. Let's say you go play in a league in Mexico or something like that. Let's say you go play in a Mexican league, but you have the chance to represent your country on a national stage, international stage, a world stage. Such you're going to play a little bit harder. You're going to be a little bit more keen, a little bit more dialed in, because this is your country you're representing. Versus your team in some type of national league, you're gonna tend to go a little bit harder, just a tad bit harder. So, but also USA game plan was to get the ball out of Shea's hands. It was to get it out of Shea's hands. Now he still ended up dropping 30 himself, so it didn't really work that well. But that was the plan. The plan was to double off Brooks. And he made him pay 7 to 8 from the 3-point line. Now, given the fact the FIBA 3-point line is about a half foot shorter than the NBA line, but a half a feet, 6 inches, bro. I mean, 6 inches can make a huge difference if you're somebody who shoots really close to the line. It can make a lot of difference, but a lot of guys are pulling from NBA range anyway. A lot of the shots are NBA shots. So, congratulations to Team Canada, the country of Canada. I kind of wish this was the gold medal game, but it was a consolation prize just seeing the two teams with the most NBA talent going at each other. It was real interesting to see. And the thing about USA downfall, in my opinion, a lot of people say, oh, they suck. Just because they lost. Only one team went undefeated in the whole entire World Cup. So to lose is not really that bad. It's not really that bad to lose. People gonna lose. You find me somebody who's played a major sport on either an international stage or a world stage who has never lost ever. You find me that person. Some people are gonna say Floyd Mayweather or something like. I get that one, but that's an anomaly. Who else has never lost ever? Don't worry. Like Cat Williams say, don't worry. I'll wait. Anyway, man. Like I said, but back to USA's downfall. They were looking for a lot of NBA calls in the FIBA game. I feel like that was the downfall of them. They were trying to play an NBA type of game, in a game that is different from the NBA. Certain foul calls, looking for fouls, expecting certain things to be a foul that was not a foul. The types of how they were subbing. It was just real hard for the Americans to play a different type of game. And then you look at the team. If you tell me somebody who's actually had FIBA World Cup experience on this stage. Now, I understand some of the players may have played in the under-19 national team, but that's totally different. These are the grown men. These are the big boys, the big leagues. This is varsity, not junior varsity or peewee leagues. You feel me? So Team USA didn't really have a lot of people that have played FIBA basketball on this stage, on this type of level. So it was kind of hard to expect them to really like. Of course, we all expected them to win gold, but it was kind of hard for you to expect that when you don't have nobody who's used to playing this type of game. So we'll see how the Olympics goes. Canada and US have already, clinched their spot in the Olympics automatically, being the last two teams from the Americas to, make it. But now let's go to the gold medal game. This is the game that everybody was talking about. This is the game that everybody wanted to see right here. Germany takes home the gold medal after finishing third in Eurobasket last year, being the host country. They win the gold medal game 83-77. Now, you say they won by 6, and it was a close game, but the game was a lot more closer than what the score may allow. Schroeder had 28 points. He won FIBA World Cup MVP. Franz Wagner. I be missaying his name, bro. Franz. I'm just calling him Franz. He had 19 points, 6 rebounds. He was the gold medal game MVP. Bogdan Bogdanovic, he had 17 points, 15 rebounds for Serbia. And Avranovic, it'd be hard for me to say these names, bro. I'm so sorry if I butcher these names. Like European names, international names. It'd be hard for me to say American names, bro. So please bear with me. But yeah, this game was tied. The game was tied at 47 at half. And both teams were going back and forth. Serbia was doing their thing, cutting, moving the ball, basically getting the type of layups that they get. We already know how Serbia was. Germany was doing what they do, getting the balls and keeping the ball in Dennis Schroeder's, Franz hands, moving the basketball, playing great defense, and just, really turning it up when it matters, man. Turning up when it matters. Germany outscored Serbia 22-10 in the third quarter, which really helped them. They didn't have to play they still have to play hard because Serbia is a good team, well-coached team, fundamentally sound team. I really like the brand of basketball that they play. If you're a basketball purist and you would just sit there and watch the play, how they're locked in, how they're together. And that's what I like about the international teams, man. Not to say that Team USA is not like that, but it's just the camaraderie. Is the coach says this is what we're doing, and they're doing it. Like, it's no questions asked. If they're asking a question, they'd be like, all right, so if this happens, you know what I'm saying, something along those lines. But like, if the coach says this is what we're doing, they're doing it. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't have to be a dictatorship, or you don't have no opinion, but it's just the trust and the faith that they have in their coach that I really like to see, and the camaraderie and the playing togetherness. And nobody is trying to, just be the hero. Nobody's trying to be the hero. So I really like that. But Serbia, for the second time in the World Cup, finished second. They finished second 2014 to the USA in the gold medal game. So and Bogdanovic was on that team as well, so I know it's kind of sour for him, given the fact of I knew he was going to be the MVP of Serbia. One, I did pick Serbia to win, given the fact that they had a player who got elbowed and lost a kidney. So they, you know what I'm saying? Let's say that Germany didn't have its own motivations and things of that nature, but I just really feel like Serbia had a better story, given the fact that they had a player, you know what I'm saying, lose a kidney. Imagine you had a teammate, bro, who lost a kidney because he got elbowed. Like, that's how hard. He had kidney damage, bro. And I'm pretty sure I said this on the last episode, but he had kidney damage. Imagine losing, like I said, imagine hooping, and then all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying, you get hit, you thinking nothing of it. And then, next thing you know, you're getting your kidney removed. So, testament to them guys. Serbia is nothing to be ashamed of, finishing second place, still getting the medal. Obviously, they didn't reach the ultimate goal, but you got to think about it. They made it to the gold medal game without their best player. Jokic said, "I'm not playing. I won me an NBA championship. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired. I'm beat up. I've been away from Serbia too long. I'm staying home, bro." And I don't blame him. I'm getting drunk with the family. I'm having a good time. I'm going horse racing. I'm finna win me a horse racing championship because that's my true passion. The NBA is just a 9 to 5 to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's having so much fun over there, bro. If I was the Denver Nuggets, I'd be scared he don't come back. But of course, we know he's gonna come back. That's just a joke. So yeah, man. Like I said, shouts out to Serbia. Congratulations to Germany on winning the gold medal. And we're gonna see how the Olympics goes next year. Now, on to the NFL. About roughly 25 minutes into the episode, so I'm not gonna really spend too much time on the NFL. I'm just gonna talk about the two games that I feel like were the two best games of, opening Sunday. The first game, which I feel like was the best game, which I really feel like should have been the Sunday night game instead of the Sunday night game that they chose to, pick. But you can expect who expects the Cowboys to beat the Giants 40-0, honestly? Besides Cowboys fans. I'm pretty sure even Cowboys fans didn't even expect them to beat them 40-0. Maybe by 14, maybe by 10, maybe a touchdown, maybe a field goal. But 40-0, like, that was utter domination. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Miami versus the Los Angeles Chargers. A game that ended 36-34 in way of Miami. Heck of a game. Tua, 28 of 45. Yes, 28 of 45 for 466, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 5 carries for 5 yards. Raheem Mostert, he had 10 carries for 37 yards and a touchdown. Tyreek Hill, 11 receptions for 215 yards and 2 touchdowns. He averaged 19.5 yards per reception, and he caught the game-winning touchdown pass with a $1:45 to go. Herbert, he had a decent game, 23 of 33, 228 yards, 1 touchdown, 5 carries, 18 yards, 1 touchdown. Austin Eckler, he had 16 carries for 117 yards and 1 touchdown. Joshua Kelly had 16 carries for 91 yards and a touchdown. And Keenan Allen had 6 receptions for 76 yards and a touchdown. Heck of a game. The Chargers had over 200 yards rushing this game. Now, I know people are thinking, like, Tua had 466. Yeah, Tua had 466. Tyreek had 215 of them. We already know that the type of player Tyreek Hill is, man. Dynamic player, speedster, a guy who could take the top off the defense, whether he's running a slant, post, a go route, whatever, a drag. I'm pretty sure he could probably take a drag route, a screen, you know what I'm saying? He's just a guy you want with the ball in his hands. 215 yards, and they needed every bit of every yard. They needed every yard from Tua, from Mostert, from Hill. You know what I'm saying? They needed every yard to win. Now a lot of people are saying Justin Herbert. Excuse me. A lot of people are saying Justin Herbert is not worth the contract. I wouldn't say he's not worth the contract. Again, it's only week 1, bro. It's only week 1, and harping back to my boy P. Scott, what he said on his podcast, what we have to stop doing with teams, and he said this on this most recent episode, but what we have to stop doing with teams is just, you know what I'm saying, just because a team lose, you can't just think that they suck. Like, what is the point of that? Like, if you play sports, you know that you're going to lose. You're going to lose. Even though you may not be used to losing, and it's not something that happens often, you are going to lose. And just because a team lose, or, they don't perform to the best of their capabilities, does not mean that they suck. I think a lot of people just like to say teams suck because they didn't live up to the expectations that you set for them. You expected them to beat that team. But on any night, any day, any afternoon, any minute, any second, anybody can beat anybody, bro. If you train and you're all professionals, or, high-level athletes, you have a chance of losing to somebody who is also a high-level athlete. So just because Tua didn't throw for 400 yards and he didn't have 5 touchdowns and, he didn't win the game, does not mean he sucked. Doesn't mean he sucked. I mean, he doesn't have a Tyreek Hill on his team. He doesn't have a Jalen Waddle on his team. Granted, Keelan Allen and, Palmer and Mike Williams are good receivers, but they're not Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is Tyreek Hill for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Just saying. Just saying. Not saying that Tyreek Hill made Tua. I still think Tua is a decent enough quarterback. I believe you have to have some type of skill level and, you know what I'm saying, to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. And who knows how the Dolphins season would have went last season if Tua didn't suffer like 3 or 4 concussions. So, and they still made the playoffs after their second string quarterback got hurt. And they had to play a third string quarterback. And they still made the playoffs. And they played my Bills and they still put up a fight. So, the Dolphins are a pretty good team. The defense is good. The defense is sound. Like I said, Jalen Ramsey is also injured. So hopefully he gets a chance to play this season. But congrats to Miami. I would have rather the Chargers won, being a Bills fan. But you know, you tip your hat off to people who do well. And it was a heck of a game, and they came out on top. The second game I'm going to talk about basically is the defending NFC champs going against the Patriots. The Eagles beat the Patriots 25-20. Hurts went 22 of 33 for 170 and a touchdown. He also had 9 carries for 37 yards and also lost a fumble. Gainwell had 14 carries for 54 yards. A.J. Brown, 7 receptions for 79 yards. Mac Jones, 35 of 54 for 316, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. He also had 2 carries for 15 yards. Zeke making his Patriots debut. He had 7 carries for 29 yards. And also Kendrick Bourne, he had 6 receptions for 64 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Stevenson also had 6 receptions for 64 yards, but he did not get into the end zone. Another game that I caught late. I went to sleep after watching both of the FIBA games, man. Like I said, I've been getting like 2 hours of sleep, like in between events. Like I watched the very last college football game to about like 1. And then I tried to take me like a 2-hour nap, like right before. But I've already been up since like 4 o'clock in the morning. So like I was exhausted, bro. Like I was just running around here dragging, zombified. Because I try and get a nap in between. Because the first FIBA game come on at 4:30. And then the next FIBA game came on at 8:30. So the first game would end around like 6:30, and I have to find something to do for 2 hours, and then stay up another 2 hours to watch the game, and then stay up for another hour and a half or so, to try and construct what I'm going to talk about and just go through my head and formulate what I'm going to say and what I'm going to talk about. So I didn't really get a chance to watch this game as much as I would have liked to, but the part of it that I did watch was a back and forth affair. The Patriots made it a game. It looked like the Eagles was going to run away with it until, Jalen Hurts had a costly fumble. I want to say it was either on third down. I want to say it was either second or third down. He had a costly fumble. And it just reminded me of the fumble he had in the Super Bowl. Like, oh, crap. I hope it don't happen to him again. Like, you know what I'm saying? But the Eagles defense, rallied around. And the Patriots, they weren't going away, bro. They were not going away. Mac Jones had a decent game. He did have 1 interception that was picked off by Darius Slay, who took it back for a pick 6 touchdown. I think it was roughly about 70 yards, something like that. So, without that, the Patriots actually win this game. And they still had a chance to win this game on 4th down. They had a chance to convert. I want to say it was like 4th and 13, 4th and 15. Mac Jones was making, I want to say it was an out route on the left side of the field. And if he just would have threw it possibly like a half second earlier, maybe a second earlier, and I can't remember. Was it Kendrick Bourne? I want to say it was Kendrick Bourne. If he just would have threw it like a tad earlier, so Kendrick Bourne could have got his second foot. Like he got his right foot down, but he didn't get his left foot down. It looked like the pellets that came up from his right foot looked like he dragged his left foot, so it took them a little bit of time. But once you've seen the different various replay angles, you got a chance to see that he was out of bounds. And, the Patriots put up a fight. Of course, they would have liked to win week 1, but going against the defending NFC champs and to stick with them and to not give up and fight the way that they fought, I want to commend the Patriots for that. The Eagles, we won, but takeaways from the game is Jalen Hurts won. You're going to have to hold on to the football, bro. Hold on to the football and slide. Slide, bro. I don't know if he's played baseball in his life. I know he wants to fight from the extra yards and show the team that he's that guy and he's willing to take some punishment for them. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, you gotta know when to slide. Because if you cough the football up at a costly point, it might be in a key game, which you really need either to get into the playoffs, or in the Super Bowl, which is what happened last year. Just take care of the football. Take care of the football. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all sticking around with me, man. We are roughly 35 minutes into the episode. So just imagine if I would have waited tonight and actually covered the Bills and Jets game, how long? We probably would have had a 40, 45-minute episode, man. But I try and keep the episodes roughly 20, 25 minutes, 30. No longer than 30, but it was just a lot of stuff. It was a lot of hoops that happened this weekend. Well, not just hoops, but there was a lot of sports in general that happened this weekend. But this has been your boy Dolo J. I've been kicking the Dolo podcast. Y'all know what we do and how we do. So without further,
let's get it. Whoa, clear out the room, I'm coming through. They wanna see what I'm about. Yeah, I got skills, do it for the